Hello, everyone. My name is Barbara Hoard. I am your speaker for tonight, and I want to welcome you. So if everyone can take a moment and just send me a hello, please, just so I know that you're all there. I see people are starting to type already, so super excited to see everyone's name coming up. And again, my name is Barbara Hoard, and we're going to be talking about discovering your essence and owning your truth. I see some other people are coming into the room. And right now, the participants, I see Anne, Celia, Heather, Linda, Mr. Williams, Roseanne. Really excited you guys are all here. And if you didn't hear me before, if you could just send me a hello, that will support me in just knowing that you are present and you're here and you're ready. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my second slide, which talks a little bit about who I am. Thank you, Roseanne, for saying hello. And if everyone else is on there we go. Hello, Linda. Thank you so much for being a part. Thank you so much for saying hello. And I want to introduce who I am. My name, again, I said, is Barbara Hoard. I am a speaker, a life coach, a personal development trainer. I focus on teaching women and teen girls to embrace their truth, embody their passion, and feel empowered by knowing their essence. When I was first invited to speak, Ty asked me, well, you speak to women, but what about speaking to men? And I think that the whole message about embracing your truth, embodying your passion, or feeling empowered, that's something I think could speak to both men and women and really to everyone. So I'm really excited to be here and excited to talk about this. For me, I'm a little bit of a bookworm. I really love speaking. I love sharing messages, and I like really understanding what I'm going to share with you. What I would like to do is, before kind of we get started on going to the other slides, I just want to have a couple of rules that I kind of put in here just for everyone. Basically, what I want to do is this. I just want you to be present for this, not looking at your phones, not looking at a TV, really being focused in on being in this space right now for this next hour. That's going to really open up the space for you to learn this, for you to understand. My goal is if at least one person that is on this call that I'm speaking to that really gets this message. So if you could just be really, if you have your phone in your hand, besides looking at it for this presentation, but if you are in a room where you're trying to do 100 other things, this here is something for the next hour that's really going to be focused on something for you. I would love to make sure you have a pen and a piece of paper, because I want you to take notes, and there are going to be a couple you to do that I think is going to support you. And I would love for you to give me your word that you're going to be present and you're ready to share. And sharing is really important, because it's one thing for me to be here and for me to present, but it's another thing to know that you get this message, that you're hearing what I'm saying, that it's resonating with you. I want to make sure that this is really open, because this is not a space for just for me to speak, but this is a space for you to speak as well. So at any time that you want to raise your hand, that you have a question, that you want to answer something, please raise your hand and I will make sure to get to you, and I will make sure to answer any other questions as best as I can in regards to that. Now, right now, I see a few participants who have raised their hand, or who at least have said hello. And I know some people are kind of coming in and going out to try to get their connection going on, and that's okay. So what I'm going to ask you again to do is just to make sure that you are here, all right, and that you are participating. I kind of want to know a few things about you. I would love to know what your favorite color is, your favorite food, and I would love to know your favorite movie. And you might be thinking, well, why does she want to know all this? Right now, I don't see any faces. So right now, I'm imagining what you guys look like. I'm imagining as far as what kind of room that you're in, what color you might be wearing, what you might be thinking, what you're like, oh my gosh, who is this woman? I see this picture. That is me right there. The picture below is the group that I teach. It's called A Woman's Essence, and it's a workshop that I teach. And so, because I want to know that you are engaged and you are involved in this, that's why I'm kind of asking you some of these questions, because it really is going to support me in just understanding who you are. And Melissa, hello, and thank you so much for joining us. So I'm going to give you a second because I don't know if you guys are all present. There we go. Well, Alex, blue, rice, and anything, and rush hour. I love it. Just to guys give you an idea of my favorite color is periwinkle blue. I'm very specific because it's a perfect blend of blue and purple coming together. And my favorite food, oh goodness gracious. That's a great question. I like so many different foods, but I do love burgers. I heard today, Melissa, but I love pasta. I love that. And my favorite movie, I am any kind of Christmas movie. I love a good Hallmark. I'm like here in the United States on the Hallmark channel and watching the Christmas. Um, so yeah, so it's funny that Alex is blue and Melissa is purple, which those two colors come together to make periwinkle blue, which makes me super happy that you guys have created my favorite color. I have some other people who are typing, so I'm assuming that they're going to kind of give me some of those kind of questions. And again, ask those questions is just because I want to kind of get to know you. And since I don't really see your face unless you're in the little picture. Okay, so yeah, love black, white, and turquoise like the movie The Holiday. The Holiday is one of my absolute favorite movies. You're right. I do love that. And Italian pasta. I see that you and I could hang out for sure. I like that a lot. So as a few other people are jumping in to kind of do that, again, if you are just coming on, I'm just going to, before we get started, I'm going to tell you one more thing, which is be open to the possibilities. Linda, yellow, fried chicken, and Mad Max. Ooh, azure blue, chicken stew, and bad boys. I love the colors that are coming up. Red, barbecue chicken, and Fast and Furious. Love that. So this is what I'm talking about. This is an opportunity right now when we ask the question of like, who am I? Who I am. And it's funny, if you notice, I put who I am because the most important part for me is the I am. Because if you introduce yourself or anything that you're doing. So again, we're going to go ahead and get started. And right now, like I asked you, just to be present be going on because right now you are getting ready to give an hour of time just for you. This is about you growing, and about you learning some things about yourself. Have a pen and paper ready. And if you have any questions or anything that you want to do, raise your hand and I will definitely come over and I will be happy to answer it because this session is about all of us coming together to learn. So I wanted to talk to you about some of the words that are part of what I'm going to speak about. It's because I said discovering your essence and owning your truth. Now, the word essence, I love just even when I say the word essence. And it says that essence is the intrinsic nature or indispensable quality of something, especially something abstract that determines character. The reason why I say essence is because I truly believe that deep down inside of every one of us, right, is your essence. It's that quality that really determines your character. It determines who you are. It determines things that you love. And a lot of times your essence is kind of buried. It's covered up. It'll be doubts, fears, shame, things that have happened, things that somebody might have told you. And so when I say discovering your essence, it's kind of getting out all of those things that might have covered it up. And it's really allowing your character, who you are, to shine through. The word owning, the first thing when you see the word owning, it says of and related to or belonging to oneself or itself. Now, it's usually used as that possessive. So it talks about like you own a car or you own a suit. But right now, what I love about this is owning, belonging to oneself, owning yourself, who you are, how you show up, what you love, what you think about. Those are the things that I think are really, really important to understand in really discovering and owning your truth. And then the word truth is next. And the truth or actual state of matter, a verified or indisputable fact, proposition, or principle, the state or character of being true. Think about that. We talk about essence, we talk about owning, and then we're talking about truth. What this all comes back to, and when it all comes around and they all kind of go together, is that truth and that character of who you are, that essence of your truth, and saying that the things that you love to do, like I love to speak, I love to travel, I love helping people, I love making a difference. So if you were to ask me what my truth is and who I am and how I own it, I would tell you who I am. Hello, Heather, present and ready. I love that someone is present and ready, and that's fantastic. And Heather, right now, what we're talking about is discovering your essence and owning your truth. Why I think it's such an important time is that anytime that you are up to anything in life, and what's really beautiful and great about this is that when you're looking at that, I don't care if you get this when you are 12, 13, 16, 17, 30, 40, or whatever. All of this is super important of really owning who you are. So my next thing is this. I believe that the journey of discovering oneself starts by making the statement of I am. And think about it. If you meet anyone, what is the first thing you say? Hello, my name is Barbara. And then the person will say, hi, like Heather, my name is Heather. And then I would say, tell me about yourself, Heather. And then one of the first things you'll say is, I am. So this is what I want to know. I want to know, how do you define yourself? Who are you? When you're asking the question of it, when someone says to you, hello, my name is, how do you define yourself? So I want you to take a piece of paper. I want you to draw a line down the middle of the paper. You tell me the I ams. Okay, so on your paper, write 3 to 5 things that you would say, I am this, this, and that. And if you want, please type it into the chat, because I would like to get to know you guys. So I would love to know, who are you? And I would tell you, if you were asking me, I am Red and Black Caribbean Food and War Room. Sorry, catching up, not a problem at all. Haven't seen War Room yet, would love to see it. So Heather, since you are there and you're ready to type, I would love to tell me 3 to 5 things about who you are. I am. For everyone who's on here, I would love to hear this. I want to understand who you are. How do you define yourself as a person? All those things that when you say, I am this, and I know you have it because you probably do it every other day. Whether you are a student, a mother, whatever it is, you have those things that says, I am. So if you could please let me know some of your I ams. Perfect. Heather says, I am resilient, ambitious, determined, focused, and kind. Very clear, and probably didn't take her very long to come up with those. So tell me, anyone else who's in here. Melissa's typing up right now, and I want to hear what her definition of herself is when she says, this is who I am. And this is really great too, because a lot of this stuff, you probably know this. You know this like the back of your hand. This is something that's very clear to you when you introduce yourself. And I'm waiting for Melissa to finish typing. And everyone else, I would love that if you're typing that definition of how do you define yourself. Melissa, I am hardworking, intelligent, beautiful, strong. And yes, you are. You're all of those things, Heather and Melissa. And I've got Mr. Williams who's typing. I think it's Celia. I want to make sure, hopefully, I'm pronouncing it right. Or I am passionate, people oriented, a mother and wife, an environmentalist, and a lover of music and art. Very clear. Now, you know what's really interesting is that when people are introducing themselves to me right now, the things that they're saying to me are those things. I'm resilient, I'm hardworking, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, which if you're going up to someone and you meet them and you say, hello, this is me. Say, hello, Melissa, I'm Barbara. And Melissa might say, Barbara, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a speaker. And for my job, I'm an executive director for a nonprofit. And I say those things. But do we ever really say, like, I'm resilient, ambitious, determined, focused, and kind? Do we say I'm passionate? Do we say I'm a music and lover of the arts and music? Do we even say those things? We don't. Now, we might think those things, but we don't say it out loud. But maybe it's how you present yourself. Here's my other question. Just as much as how you define yourself, Razan says, I'm a great thinker, passionate goal seeker. And he said a few other things. Mr. Williams, I'm an adaptable, I'm a lover of good music. So here's my question to you guys. When you're saying how do you define yourself and you're telling me all your I ams, what are the I ams that you just say to yourself? And it's kind of in the back of your mind. It's those things that you really don't share with others. Things that when you really think about it, and it's the things that you probably wouldn't say to anybody else. It's the things that if I'm saying that I am to myself, that I don't want anyone else to know, I might say that I'm sometimes insecure. I am sometimes doubtful about my abilities. What are those I ams? Because we sometimes tell the definition of when I define myself, we say those things that really people might want to hear. But I'm wondering, what are some of the things that you might not say to anyone else? What are some of the things that if you were really sharing, you wouldn't tell me? And you wouldn't maybe even put in this chat? Because what if somebody sees that? What if somebody reads that? What if somebody thinks that about you? And I think that for you to move past certain things, the I ams are just as important as those I ams that you don't talk about. How you define yourself, those things are important as well to know that. Now, I know there are other people on this call, so I'm really interested to see, where are you? Are you present and are you on this call? Can you say, I am present? And it's very interesting that when people are typing, we have some of the same people who are showing up and they're speaking and they're typing. And then other ones are, where are you? And I love it. So Sheila says, I am present. I love this. Karina says, I am present. And that's important too, because I am really, and I love everybody's now like, I am present. I am present. Now we've got, I am present. I am here. This is who I am. So I asked the question of who, so I've got, I am present. I'm present. And now what I want to know is this. If your I ams are all these things, like when I start to look at it and I look at this I am that says, I am adaptable, I'm a lover of good music, which Mr. Williams says, then what I want to know is this. How have you been defined by others? If someone else was to say, maybe a parent, a teacher, how have you been defined by what they say about you? And that important. So on the other side of that paper, just like you said, I am all of these things, tell me, how have you been defined by others? And if you say, well, others do not define me, realistically, we live in a society with people. And when we're living with people, people are going to say things. They're going to talk. They're going to say, this person, like if I was to define Alex, because I've talked to Alex just a little bit, I would say that Alex is smart, he's present, He's supportive because he helped me to make sure that I understand Blackboard. That's how I define Alex. Now, I don't know for sure if that is Alex. I know him a little bit, but you have people who define you. And here's the thing, you have people who define you as, wow, you are fantastic. And then you have those other ones who define you as, you're this. I remember that I had a teacher who would say, you know what, you're not that smart. And it's really interesting that a teacher would say something like that. But that's what I want to understand. Number one, how you defined yourself. And number two, how have you been defined by others? Guys, this is what's really important here, is that this here, for us to kind of discover what's going on with each other, I would love to hear from you, because I know that you're present. I know that you hear. I want to hear from you. I want to understand, how have you been defined by others? What have they said to you? What have they said about you? And when I hear nothing, I'm wondering, have you not even been there? So I would love for someone to possibly raise their hand, and even let's have a conversation about that. I'm going to go back and I'm going to see if Heather, I know you're present, right? And I was wondering, Heather, would you be willing to have a conversation with me? And I want to kind of ask you a few questions if you're open to that. Or Melissa, or anyone who oh, Heather's typing. There's my Heather. Okay, Heather, great. I am going to, bear with me while I unmute you. Heather, okay, there we go. All right. I might need a little support on this. I want to make sure Heather can speak. Alex, can you help me with that?
Yes, she can speak. Heather.
Okay, perfect. Heather, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Barbara.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So when I asked the question, I said, tell me your I am. And your I am that you gave me was, I'm resilient, ambitious, determined, focused, and kind. And you're pretty clear on that, that those are the things that you are, correct?
Yes, I'm clear on that.
Okay, awesome. So how do others define you?
I think others define me as brilliant. They think I'm focused. I am a forward thinker. I'm a quick thinker. Those are the words I hear from people around me. A lot of people think I'm ambitious as well, and I'm a go-getter. So those are the words I hear. Yes.
Okay.
Other persons also say that my face is hard. So I have a hard face. I'm not a smiler, so my face doesn't smile all the time. But if you speak to me, then you get to understand. Yeah. You know, this is Heather, and she doesn't smile all the time, but she's not that bad, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's perfect, because it's really interesting. Now, I know when I'm walking down the street, sometimes I have such a hard face also. So
Yes.
when people think you have a hard face, so when I ask the question of, then how are you defined by others, right? Because like you said, I want them to think this. So when they think that you have this hard face, because, you know, we all grew up, and kids can be, even adults can be kind of rough, right? And they can say kind of things. So my question is, how have you been defined by others, not just always as these positive, wonderful words? What about those other words? What about the other things?
Well, I have been defined as being, I think one of my major definition is that my face is difficult for people to penetrate. I've also been defined as, liking perfection and liking to see things go, like, it's like I want it perfect. And not everybody is as, rigid or as strict, in terms of performance, but I like to see things go well. So I've been, given the negative for that. Heather, relax a little bit. It's not that bad, kind of thing. And and I've also been told that I'm probably miserable too, and grumpy when I'm hungry, and those sort of things. Yeah.
So have you accepted this?
I've accepted it because I don't mind being critiqued or spoken to. But sometimes I've never been a smiler. I've always been a thinker. So most times my mind is going like I'm overthinking. I'm always thinking. So because I'm always thinking, my face shows off that thinking face. It doesn't show off that face that's, oh, you see me, and I'm always just grinning kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you said, if you've accepted this as your truth. And I think that, I think that there's definitely feedback that you have, but I think also what's really interesting is that we start to accept certain things as our truth. And,
Yes.
The great part about this is that when you introduce yourself, like if I know nothing about you and I read these things that you say about yourself, okay, then I'm looking at it and I look at your colors or your Caribbean food or your war room. And the fact that you're so present to say, hey, I'm just getting caught up, but then you went back and did the work. So I can tell that you're ambitious. I can tell that you're focused, right? But then you also have sometimes accepted these things as your truth. So when you accept them as your truth, does this become that you start to own it because it is your truth?
Well, I try to soften my face because I don't want to look really hard. I really want to look like somebody that persons would feel free to approach, just come upon me and approach me. I really try to work on it, but I don't think I'm doing a great job.
Okay. And thank you for being honest and thank you for sharing, because I think that part of this here, this is really interesting for me, because if I was standing in front of you, I would do some work with you like I'm doing kind of like this, but a little bit deeper. But I love the fact that you were brave enough to, number one, share this information and then say, you know what, these have defined me. And as someone who has to think about smiling sometimes, I get that completely, you know. But what I love is that there are going to be people who define you, and then and like again, I said, thank you for sharing. Thank you for at least opening up and being vulnerable and authentic enough to just say, this is who I am and how I see myself. So thank you. Yeah, definitely. All right. Any questions you have before I put you back on mute? Or Alex put you on mute?
I mean, I would take some tips in terms of how could I soften my face, but I mean,
yeah, well,
I'm not sure if this is the forum for it.
That's okay. Well, you know what? I think in a way, before we jump over there, I think that's okay, because what you've done is you've taken this message of what somebody else might be defining you as, and you've taken some of it to heart, right? So one of the things that I do is that I notice that when I'm walking and I'm doing things and I'm thinking, I tell myself, you know what, Bart, soften your face. Think about this, because of, you know what, you and I are probably in the same thing. We're already 12 steps ahead of what we're doing. Yes. We're thinking about the next thing already. We're saying what else is possible. And so what you're doing is this. Know that where you're at in the space you're in, you want to help others. I can tell just by you're ambitious, you're determined, you're focused, you're kind. You put that word kind in there as well. So even though you have these strong, powerful, resilient, ambitious, determined, focused words, there's a kindness to you also. So yeah, so when you open up that space and show the kindness, if you could look at it that the people who are coming towards you, imagine if you bring them the kindness. Imagine that they might be having one of those days, and that kindness that you're bringing invites them in so that you can support them on maybe what else they're doing. And so it's work. I have to think about it. I have to watch my face. I have to think, what am I doing? Am I thinking? Because when you're thinking, you're not in the moment right there. Where you are, you're already 26 steps ahead. So when you're not in the moment, then you can't be present to the fact of there may be a person who's coming at you who might need support from you. So what I would just invite you to do is, the future will come. I promise you, tomorrow, God willing, you will wake up and you will start all over again. But in this moment, be present. So when you're present and you're not so far ahead, your brain stops going 100 miles a minute.
So you can focus on what's happening
now, where you are right now. Yeah, exactly. So try that. And it's going to take practice. I can promise you, you'll go right back to going to that, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What tomorrow? What's going to happen in this next moment? What am I going to do? Instead of being there. So what you can do is say, in this moment, I'm kind. in this moment. I am focused on this moment, and I am determined to be kind and focused in this moment. Try that. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right.
Okay.
So we're going to mute Heather again. And oops. See what we did? I'm sure Alex, well, thank goodness Alex is on here because he is going to make me look so good because I'm learning. All right. So I want to talk to you guys about dreams, because what's really important is that dreams, I asked you the question, like, do you dream about what you want to be or do? Remember when you were a little kid, you were like, yes, you know, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a mom. You know, I wanted to be a clothing designer. And I wonder, have you changed your dreams? And then the third one is, do you ask for permission to dream? And I asked that question because what ends up happening is this. A few months ago, I had an opportunity to speak to 300 second graders. Second graders are between the ages of 7 and 8 years old. And I would say it was at a bring your child to work day kind of thing. So we had children, right? And they were asking about careers and different things. So I asked them, tell me what you want to do. So I have a little boy who raised their hand, and the little boy would say, you know what? I want to be a car driver. I want to be a basketball star. And then a little girl would say, you know, I want to be a doctor. I have somebody else saying I want to be a nurse. And then there was this one little girl who stood up and she said, I want to be a doctor for animals. I said, okay, so you want to be a vet? Yeah, that one. I want to be a clothing designer. I want to be a model. I also want to travel the world. And I said, okay, great. And a little boy said, you can't do all of that. And I turned to the little boy and I said, why not? And at that moment, the class stopped. You could see the wheels turning. And the reason that the wheels, because it was like these kids, I gave them permission to dream. I gave them permission to say, wait a minute, I can do all that stuff? Now, the next kid after that was like, oh, I want to be a race car driver. I want to design cars. I want to be a football player. I want to be a doctor. Great. But what was really special is the first or second kid who went, before the little girl who said, I want to be all these things, they raised their hands and they said, is it okay if I change the things that I want to be? And I said, of course. And they started to add on those other things. They started to do that because what happens is that they were only given, they just needed permission to dream. So my question to you is, do you give yourself permission to dream? You know, speaking and sharing this and going around the country and speaking to different people. This is my dream. And I had to have someone who told me, Barbara, you are really good at speaking. And then I had to believe in that, but I had to give myself permission to dream. And when I did that, it changed everything. So a lot of times, like, I want to hear from you guys on the chat. Do you give yourself permission to dream? Are you willing to step outside of that box that sometimes you put yourself in or that people put you in? And are you willing to dream? Are you willing to turn around and be a dream chaser, like this little picture says? Are you willing to be a dream chaser? That is something that's so important, because a lot of times we do things because what our families tell us or what the school tells us. But when it comes to who we are, do we even step out of our comfort zone to change it and say, yes, I am willing to do this. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm excited about doing. So Heather says, yes. Like, yes, I give myself permission to dream. If you don't give yourself permission to dream, and sometimes you need it right now, I will be your person in proxy, and I will say, I am giving you permission to dream. I am giving you permission to remember what you want to be, remember what you used to want to be, remember right now. The great part about it is that it is never too late to start. It is never too late to start your dream. If in any way you think, oh, I'm too old, I've done this, I'm already doing this, it's okay to do this. It is okay to step out of your box. And I think as Roseanne says, I think I do, but sometimes I tend to want to accept the current reality. Roseanne, that is such a perfect way to do it, because you know what? It's like, this is who I am. This is what I do. What would happen, Roseanne, if you decided, right, to say, okay, you know what? Yes, this is my current reality. Like, I'm working on a book right now. So my current reality is, during the day, I'm an executive director for a nonprofit. Right now, I'm speaking to you guys, right? But then what would happen if I say, I'm going to write a book, right? What happens? So Melissa says, sometimes I do give myself permission to dream. I love that you said sometimes, Melissa. And I guess my question is, why is it not all the time? And where do you put parameters on the sometimes? And Celia says, I agree that this is very important. My cousin became a lawyer at 50. That has always been her dream. She studied accounting and then did marketing, then finally law. That right there is so important, to give yourself permission. So for Roseanne, I am asking you to go, just take a chance. I'm not saying stop your current reality. I'm saying step out of it, and also, and then go ahead and do something else. If there's a dream that you want, because tell me, what is your dream that you want, Roseanne? And Melissa, where you say you're sometimes, right? What is that? What is your sometimes that you stop and say, okay, sometimes I do give myself permission. And then where is it that you don't give yourself permission? And where is it that you're stopping yourself from doing those things? Those are the things. And when you look at Celia, when you says that right there is important, because her cousin became a lawyer at 50, guys, at 50. That's what I'm talking about. So I can't wait. I want to see. Melissa says, I guess I might be afraid to fail. Okay, this is awesome, Melissa. What happens if you fail? What would happen? Like, would you pass out? Would you fall off the earth? Well, the worst thing, what's the worst thing that could happen if you fail? You know? And it's a lot of, when you don't give yourself permission to try, I would rather see you try and fail 100 times than not try at all. Because in failure, do you know that when the light bulb was being created, right? Thomas Edison created the light bulb. 10,001 ways to not create a light bulb. Then he got it right. So I'm with Melissa, with sometimes fear of failure. My dream is to open my own business through which I will be able to impact the lives of as many people as possible. Here's the great part about it for all of you. If you at least put it out there, you never know what is possible. In the failure, you learn. In the failure, every time you fail, you know what? You learn how not to do something. So fail. And then what you do is fail greatly. Fail and then keep on going. Fail and then do it again. Fail and then you find out a little bit more. Fail and then ask someone else for support. Fail and then keep on until you say, I got it. Those are the kind of things that really will make the difference in what you're doing. So if you're afraid to fail, I hope you do. I want you to fail. I've failed so many times I can't even tell you. But if I didn't fail, if I failed and stopped, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys right now. So I want to talk to you about It's Been a Long Time Since. This might support you. Rose said, I recently retired, but I'm still dreaming. Dream, Rose, because this is a perfect time for you to dream. You've retired. You have nothing else in your way. Go for it. So it's been a long time since. The statement of It's Been a Long Time Since came to me when I was working with my mentor. And he's like, we were talking about what I'm going to speak on. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, it's been a long time since what? So what I did is I created this chart that says, it's been a long time since I accepted me. I dreamed, I moved, I chose, I've been joyful, I took a stand. This is kind of the same things that is going on right here. See, however, I do weigh pros and cons. Also, how does it align with my economics? Let me tell you something here. If every time, just imagine that every time somebody says, if I would say it's been a long time since, it's been a long time since what, right? Then all of this, it ties into what we're talking about within your dreams. Because Melissa says, agree with Monique, I need to remind myself of this. Failure helps you to push more. It's been a long time since I believe I could open a business. It's been a long time since I believed that I could dream. It's been a long time since I believed that I couldn't fail. I want you to take some of these things and think about some of the things that you're saying right now. You guys want to dream, but you're so afraid of failing. So I would say it's been a long time since what? If you're willing to step out of your comfort zone, if you're willing to say, it's been a long time since, and then invite something in. So for me, it's been a long time since I believed I could do, well, here it is. It's been a long time since I believed I could write a book. So what I did is this. I have a statement for you. It's been a long time since, I'm going to fill in the blanks. It's been a long time since I believe I could write a book, and I choose to write the book because someone gets to read it. How many of you have it's been a long time since statement, and you are holding on to the dreams because you are hoping that maybe one day you'll be brave enough. Maybe one day you'll have enough money. Maybe one day you'll open up that business. Maybe one day you'll help to make a difference. When you start to look at it, it's been a long time since, when you start to look at the fact of all of these here, how many things are you holding off on your dreams and creating what you want and owning your truth? Because here's the thing about it. Your truth right now, Roseanne, is that you want to open up that business. Your truth right now is it's been a long time since I trusted in myself. It's been a long time since I had faith to know I could do this. So I would really love for you guys to take this and then think about this tonight, because our words are so incredibly powerful. What have you been telling yourself? It's time to rework it. No, you are the driving force. I'm going to promise you, you are the driving force between anything that you want to do. Be a dream chaser. And you know what, Heather? Weigh the pros and cons, but it doesn't mean stop dreaming. It doesn't mean, well, as when my money gets together, then I'll be able to dream. It's been a long time since I had enough money, and maybe today I choose to go ahead and dream and choose to do the things that I want to do. Try it. Try it, because it's really important. Because when you think about it, it's been a long time since. Has it been a long time since you wrote? And what should you not be forgetting? What if there's a book in one of you? Who wants to write a book, something that they share with? Who wants to create that business? Who wants to open up that boutique, whatever it is? And what have you not been doing because you are saying, when everything falls into place, when my money is right, when the time is right, I am going to do that. So I'm wondering, it's been a long time since, what is it, right? And so then on the next thing, maybe it's been a long time since you decided something needs to be done. It's been a long time since, when this says we can only see a short distance ahead, but we can see plenty that needs to be done. So if I say it's been a long time since I believe that I can make the difference going to another country, helping someone out with the hurricane that hit the Bahamas, I believe I can help. What would happen if you say, you know what, it's been a long time since, and I know I can do it? So what if Maya Angelou, who wrote this particular one, she says, if you're always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. What if it's been a long time since I knew how amazing I was? And I am no longer committed to being normal. I'm committed to being outrageous. Linda, yes, you can. That's the thing about this. It's asking yourself, what has it been a long time since? And then deciding, guess what? I can do this. I can make the difference. This really comes up to you. This comes to you making the choice to say, I am going to stand in my power. I am going to own my truth. Imagine if Martin Luther King decided not to do any of this. Because Martin Luther King said, if you can't fly, then run. So I would say this, if you can't fly, and maybe you're saying it's been a long time since I could fly, then run. It's been a long time since I could run, then walk. It's been a long time since I could walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you keep moving. You keep dreaming. How many of you have a journal that writes down in your journal, these are the things that I want to create. These are the things that I want to do. This is what I'm challenging you. If you are a dreamer, chase those dreams. Own your truth. Know that your life is your stage. Know life. Just remember, you really are your lead actor, your lead life in your life. You're the actor, you're the actress. You write the script, you design the set, you even assign the characters in your life. You know that person you don't like, that's your villain. The person who's right in your corner, maybe that's your mother or your grandmother, right? You create all of this. So if this is your stage, if you're writing the script, if you're directing it, then guess what? Create the life that you want. This is what's so great about life. This is when you say, it's been a long time since I believe I could do this. And like Linda said, but now I know, yes, I can. If you really are worried about economics, Heather, then my question to you right now is, what is it that you really want to do? And then what is really standing in your way? Because I can promise you, it's not about how much money you have in the bank. Because if you really decide you want to do something and you create this and you're going to do it, you create it, you do it. And when you think you can't do it, then you reach out to someone and you get support. And I would say in this group, I want you to think about people who are really excited about things. Think about Celia, whose cousin, she's seen it before. You know, think about the people who are saying, yes, I can do this. Yes, this is what I'm able to do. So I want to challenge you guys. Are you willing to stand out? Are you willing to challenge your own story about, as long as I weigh the pros and cons, as long as I align with my economics, then I can do it? I want you to stand out. I want you to say, yes, you know what? I'm ready to do this and I'm ready to do this now. And if I fail, that's okay. I fall down, but I promise you, when you fall down, sometimes in that falling, you'll see it and you'll find it. Are you willing to challenge your own story? Are you willing to speak to yourself when you don't believe in yourself, when you doubt yourself? Are you willing to look at a story you're telling yourself and change it? I am never good enough. I can't do this. I need to have enough money. I need to do this. I love this. Heather says, I will start working on my consultancy. That's it. And here's the great part, Heather. Guess what? Challenge that story that there's something that you couldn't do. And every time you think, well, I can't do this, get a journal, write down every day, this is something I'm going to create. This is something I'm going to do. And then get support for it, because we are not an island. When they say it takes a village to raise a child, I promise you, it takes more than a village to raise a child, okay? It takes, like, I have so many people who are in my corner who are, if you think about a board of directors, those are my people who say, keep on going, Barbara, believe in yourself, think about it. So I'm wondering if you're willing to look at your story you are telling yourself and change it. And then are you willing to create and own your truth? Own that truth that you can do consult work. Own the truth that you can open up a business. Own the truth that this is something that you want to do and this is something that you want to create. And you're right. That networking is key. The networking is so incredibly important. Now, here, I want you to know this. If you want to embrace your greatness, then challenge yourself to stand tall in your life. That means if you need to forgive, forgive. And that means forgiving a family member, forgiving someone. Maybe you got fired from your job and you're like, it was this person's fault. Forgive that. Forgive yourself for believing that you could not even possibly do these things. If you need to let go of your story, let go of the BS that you keep on telling yourself. Let it go. If you need to scream, you're all at home, nobody can hear you scream. If you do nothing else, scream right now, because screaming right now just says, I'm ready to let all of this go. Because whatever you do, remember this, you are the essence of you. So own it. You are the light that shines within. Own it. You are your truth. Own it. And that's what all this owning is. It's owning who you are. It's owning the things that you want to create. It's owning the things that you want to do. It's owning those things to say that I am my best self, because I promise you, if you fail and if you fall, know this one thing. Sometimes in the fall, when you're on the ground and you're looking down, how many times you're walking by and you look down and you find a penny, right? And you're like, oh, I didn't even see that. Or you're driving somewhere and you're like, I've never seen that building. It's finding those things. It's, I hope you're all at home right now and screaming, or you're forgiving, or you're letting go, or you're saying, you know what? I am this. I am ready to manifest my truth. Yes, and that's it. Own this, because you are the essence. You are this. And then know this. Know this right now. You are the best version of yourself. You are the best version of you. I don't care if you don't have the business. I don't care if you don't have the perfect job. The perfect job might come, it might not. The business might come, it might not. You might lose that weight, you might get married, you might not. You might do this, you might not. But no matter what, in this moment, right now, you are the best version of you. And so I am so grateful. Like, this is the great part about it. Aim to be your best version of yourself. This is the great part. You ready for this, Celia? You don't have to aim. You are already the best version of you. If you do nothing else, remember that statement, I am, ... This is it. I am. As soon as you say I am, guess what? That means you are everything. I am. There you go. I am. You see that? Because, and this is what I want everybody to say every morning. For 1 year, I said the statement of, I am beautiful. I am smart. I am talented. I put it up on my mirror until I got it. I didn't love myself. So you know what I did? I started loving my shoulders until I could figure out more. So no matter what, you want to do consulting work, Heather, open up a business, do it. Know this, and know this forever and for the rest of your life. You are and always will be the best version of you. So I want to open up to any questions that you might have and any things that you want to talk about. And we've got about 8 more minutes. I know I went just a few minutes over. So anyone who wants to say anything, Crystal, you got it. I am already what I am. Bam. That's it. Imagine this. You are the best version of you. That's what it comes down to. You are the best version of yourself. Imagine if you continue to tell yourself that. So it doesn't mean that tomorrow you're going to have to do anything else. You are your best version of you. If anyone has any questions, and if you could just raise your hand, then I will be happy to click on it and answer any questions or talk to anyone that might want to further have anything else that they want to ask me about this. Crystal, I love that you said that I am already what I am. And I think that is so perfect. And for all of you, you know, this here is something that you can, I promise you, you would embrace this. If this is something that you are willing to embrace, it really can change how you look at things, change about the way you think about things, if you start to just practice this. And this is not something that is, you know, it's something that when you start to work on it, it's something that you will start to, deep inside you, it'll bring your essence out. And that's why I say it's that discovering your essence and owning your truth of I am. So I see Melissa and Heather are typing right now. And if anyone wants to talk, I can definitely take you off of mute, and we can, you know, if you have any questions or if there's anything that you want to say, please go ahead and I'll be happy to answer anything that you might want to have a question on this while we have about 6 minutes left. Melissa, this session has really enlightened me. Thanks, Barbara. I had trouble embracing my truth and being confident in who I am, but there is so much to take away from what you presented. And thank you so much. This is, whenever I do this, when it really comes down to it, is this is a perfect time when you start to look at the we's. like all of us here, and what we're up to and what we're doing. And with Heather, this is the I am. When you start to connect, that's your I am. Melissa, embrace your truth, because remember, you're the best version of you. Okay, Lakeisha? Okay, she went back on mute. All right, Crystal is typing right now. And Melissa, thank you for the kind words. I greatly appreciate that. I really do. Heather, very informative session. It will allow self-reflection and introspect. And I think it will. I think that here's the great part about this. All this is just, it's everything that you have, everything that's within you. There's nothing. Everything that you need. You know, Shamar, you're it. Owning your truth and building on that, and that's it. Put this on your mirror. Know this now. I am the best version of myself. Own that. That right there is your new message. I own my truth. I own who I am. I know who I am. That will make all the difference right there for you. And if you have to put it on your mirror, put it in your car, put it on your phone, right? Everywhere. And I love It's Been a While Since. When you do It's Been a While Since, I want you to make sure you say, it's been a while since I've done this, and this is my new message. This is the new thing that I'm going to do. So you make sure that you close that out. You could say, it's been a while since I believed in myself, and today I started knowing. There you go. I am the best version of myself. Words to live by. So it's been a long time, and now I know I am the best version of myself. Right? What do you recommend I do when I begin to doubt myself, as I feel stuck in self-doubt? The self-doubt is that little thing, remember I said at the beginning, and then when you say I am, you have that self-doubt. I don't believe in myself. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not good enough. From now, get a Post-it, put it up on your mirror, put it in your car. I want it everywhere. Write it on a book, wherever it is, that you say, I am the best version of me. I am, ... If you want to say I'm wonderful, I'm special, go for it. But if you say nothing else but says, I am the best version of myself, or I am, that right there, Melissa, is right there. But keep on reminding yourself, because you are your biggest supporter. Remember the stage? You are the lead actress in your movie. This is your life. So own that. So Melissa, if you could give me an I am, what would you say that could be loving about yourself right now that could support you? What is the I am for you that really will support you when you feel down? Should I also say that I am not? I tried this. Instead of, like, when you're saying I am not this, or I am not this, or I am not that, my question to you is this. When you try with the I, and Karina, I am resilient. Yes, you are. When you try not this, I'm not that, I want you to kind of focus on I am, because when you try to bring that negative to I am not, it's interesting how your mind works. Sometimes your mind doesn't even see the not part of it. So if I am not negative, sometimes it's like I am negative. So I would focus on the I am, because I am the best version of myself. How do you overcome the negative aspects of the I am? Is that you accept that this is there and they try to overcome it. When you're talking about those negative aspects of the I am, it's so interesting when I ask you guys, how many of you have those things that I am that you say to yourself? No one said anything. When you have those negative, understand where the underneath that. The I am, the negative part of it, know this. It's never like if I say I am ugly, right? Maybe when I was 6 years old, someone told me I was ugly. So overcome that, what's underneath it. It's almost like a flower growing. What's in the ground helps to nurture it. So where did you not get nurtured that you would have that negative? What about when you're afraid to do something that hasn't been done before? How do I gain the inspiration to do it? You are the inspiration, James. You don't need to gain inspiration. All you need to know is do it afraid. I don't care if you do it afraid. Do it if you fail, get back up and try it again, because through all those failures are the things that are going to help you to grow. So do it afraid. Crystal, remember, whatever's in your ground that was not allowing you to grow, clear that up. Clear those things up that really was bothering you and that was hurting you. I've got about 1 more minute, and then I think we are complete. So if anybody else has anything, James Madison, you are typing right now. And here's the thing, I want to let you guys know, I'm going to share my email. So if there's other questions that come after this, please, I want you to know, Crystal, you are so welcome. I want you to know that I'm here and I'll be happy to support in any way, because I know I gave you a lot of information and I want to make sure that when it comes down to it, if there is something else that can support you, I will make sure to just share that. And James, you're so welcome. I really appreciate it. Roseanne, thank you so much. It really is. I am so glad that you got this message. I want you to know you're the best version of you. Know that you are fantastic. Know that you are amazing. And know this right now. You will never be any better than you are now. And when the time comes, you're still going to be the best version of you. Heather? Wonderful. Yes. And please, I'm going to share, like I said, I'm going to share my information and I'll make sure to share it with the guys. I don't know how it's done. I'm going to make sure. So if there's any questions that you have, anything that you need support with, anything that you're dreaming about and you need help with, don't hesitate. I want to make sure that you turn around and you reach out to me and I will be happy. I promise you, if you email me, I will make sure I'm going to do this now. And I'm going to let you know, this is my email address. If I'm going to give you, that's my email address. By any means, if you want to send an email because you have a question or some kind of support, please don't hesitate to do that, because sometimes you need someone. So I'm letting you know I'm in your corner. I know your essence. I know your truth. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Own who you are. And I thank you very much for being on this. And I hope you got something out of this and know that you are your best version of you. Thank you, guys.